See, my problem with Fast and the Furious was
when they went to space.
Well, no, there's many problems with the Fast and Furious franchise, but this is my problem with Fast and Furious, and I can't really fault them because it was funny because it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? So I grew up in the 80s and the 90s, and I went to like quote street races, and they didn't look anything like a Fast and the Furious movie street race. It was a bunch of old dudes hanging out in a parking lot. There was no like music playing and hot chick.
It wasn't a race.
No, it was
wasn't a
not.
race.
No, it was not. But now it is. Like if you go to like a Grid Life event, it looks like a Fast and the Furious movie. So I give them props for that. But my problem is, previous to that, you could be a car guy and just be out of shape, and it was okay. Now, if you don't look like Dominic Toretto, you are not a good car guy. Like, it's like, where's your sick pack abs while you're working on that car? It's like, I am eating Pop-Tarts and building cars here. I don't have time to like go to the gym. That's why I don't like Fast and Furious. That's my beef with that movie.
That's the first angle I've heard on that one.
Yeah, it's
Good with everything else, just
that.
Dom's physique.
no, so do you listen to the podcast, How Did This Get Made?
No.
Oh, God. So number one, put that on your list, because if you watch any of the Fast and Furious movies, listen to How Did This Get Made? And it is an amazing podcast. So it's like they make fun of Fast and Furious, but in like a serious side where it's like the whole theory of the podcast is like, how did these movies actually get made? Who greenlit this movie? Because this is a stupid idea. And so they go through the movie and they just make fun of the fact that like the latest Fast 10, right? Like, how did they get another submarine? Like that, like, where did this other, like the whole thing is just, it's
You would think at some point, like there'd be a presidential order about like this group of guys not having access to all of the latest technology.
But that's that whole thing, right? Like that, if you know the behind the scenes of Fast and Furious, right? So Fast and Furious launches, Fast 2, like the Vin Diesel's out. Yep. He thinks it's a joke. He thinks it's stupid. He quits. He's never going to do this. Then by 3, he realized this is just a money-making machine.
Oh, shit. I'd like to get paid.
And the network is just like, and the studio is just like, we will make as many of these as we possibly can. Like 7 was supposed to be the last Fast and the Furious. That's when the network was like, no, we need more. And they just, all right, fine, we'll just go to space.
You think it's almost like a joke? Like, what can we get away with?
It has to be at this point, right?
Space has to be.
Yeah.
It's so
It has to be just people just sitting around, just be like, just as high as a kite, right? They're just like they're just like dropping CBD gummies and they're just like rocking it out, right? It's like, all right, so just hear me out. What if we took a Fiero to space? Like, no, there's no way that makes any sense. No.
I still haven't watched the last one.
I think I watched 10 on the plane because there was nothing else. And they went to space and then they're like just jumping like 3,000 miles in a car to hit something.
Space one's the last one?
No, that was 9. 9, they went to space. 10 was, and I mean,
I've seen 10.
I watched it and then I watched it again thinking maybe I wasn't
missed
fair
it?
to it. But it's still really bad.
Is it still the same crews? Like Luda's still in it?
Well, no, this is the best part.
Ripping it.
Everyone who's died has come back. Like nobody. The best part is the only person who hasn't come back is the person who's actually died. But he's still alive in the Fast and Furious universe.
Are you serious?
I am absolutely serious. Yes, he's still alive. He just doesn't
like
come
off
to
somewhere.
He's just busy.
He just doesn't come to any of the missions. Just Brian's busy. Like
Got a fucking desk job.
I have no
got
idea.
inundated with paperwork.
That's the single most greatest fact that's come out of this entire podcast. So everybody that's died in the movie has made their way back in.
As of 10, every person who has died in a Fast and the Furious film is now alive again.
They just find them. They were like off in Colombia doing something for like
Just random stuff. Yeah. Like it's just, like Han.
thought I was dead.
Han, who died in 3, came back in 7. Like no one dies. No one dies. They all come back.
What about from 1, the little crackhead dude in the VW that got blown up?
Yeah, he's the only one. He's the only one. Yeah.
He was full blown dead.
Yeah, he was super dead. That was back when it was still a movie about cars.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was when they actually involved. I don't think in 10 there's a single like actual car
part
thing. I think there's one pseudo race and that's it. You can like in when they started to get further along, they sort of like you could tell they were like they're basically superheroes at this point, right? So it's like they can do anything. But I think like by this point in time, they still try to put some car stuff in, but there's no car stuff in there.
Number one, I'm not gonna even try to act like I didn't like it.
What's that? Oh, the first
Seeing Fast and Furious in the theater.
I wouldn't argue with that at all.
It was so. I mean, that was like we were living that life and seeing that shit like on the TV. They got so many things wrong and names and stuff like that, but it didn't fucking matter. It was like you're seeing all these brands, and I was going to SEMA at that point in time, and just like seeing that on the big screen was like, we fucking made it.
Oh, if it wasn't for Fast and the Furious, NOS energy drink probably would not exist.
100%. And nobody would know what NOS was.
And Holly will be the first one to tell you they make more money off NOS than off any other part in their catalog. Just that one licensing deal, that's their number one revenue stream is just licensing, or at least it was. I don't know if it's still out there, but yeah, that licensing nitrous. Well, NOS.
Well, that's the first time I ever heard the word NOS was in that movie. I'm like, NOS. Oh, they're just saying, NOS. Oh,
yeah, nitrous.
That's weird. I don't like hearing saying NOS.
That's when you didn't hire like an actual, because every movie's got like when they hire, like every movie's got like a subject matter expert, right? So like when you're talking about historical pieces, there's going to be people who come in and they're like, oh, that weapon is right, that weapon's wrong, all that kind of stuff. That when I watched that movie, when they screamed out NOS, I was like, this movie did not hire.
Wasn't Lieberman a big part of that movie at that point?
I think
Fast
so.
Furious 1?
Yeah. But it was like how that got
named Lieberman,
through.
I don't think is like a big car guy.
Oh, you've just fucked up.
Really?
Oh yeah, you fucked up big time.
Explain. Enlighten me.
Well, we've got him on coming up as a guest, and he is probably the most knowledgeable car guy out there.
We'll work through that. See, there you go. That's prime example.
So there you go. You can ask her like, why did you let them call it NOS? That could be question one. So why'd you call it NOS?
Why did you let them call it NOS?
And that did drive me nuts back in the day because that was right about the time I put a plate kit on my Camaro.
Yep.
And I was like, NOS. And I was so anti-import. So I was the guy like trolling them, rolling through the movie theater parking lots, looking for races with the import guys.
I wish you'd have found me.
I'd have blown your fucking doors off.
In your
200. I had a 200 wet.
So that's like.
But did it take out your manifold and your diamond plate floorboard?
No, it didn't. It took
During your during your 30-minute quarter-mile run.
10-pound bottle is good for about 6 passes at 200 shot, and it doesn't last very long. So not 30 minutes.
The best part about how this got made, the podcast, they do a live one over one of the Fast and Furious, and they have people dress up, and someone dressed up as the runway from the one. Remember the fast one, the plane lands, and it's like the longest runway known to man because it's like a 40-minute scene inside the
driving in between the wheels
of the plane. Yeah, it's like on the longest runway. Someone did the math on it. Like that runway's got to be like 5 miles long in order for that actually to work in real life.
Shit.
Yeah.
I wonder what the fuck Vin Diesel's up to. He's
cash and checks.
Yeah.
That's at the end of the day. That's what it boils down to.
Damn.
Yep.
You remember that?
You see him getting into some weird shit after being so masculine for so long. Whatever.